back in 2009 when Sarah Shord, Josh Fatal, and Shane Bauer were on a hike in Iraq. They probably never imagined it would turn out this way. This is home video from their trip 2 years ago, and here's a quick timeline of what happened. Back in 2009, Shord and Bauer were living in Damascus, Syria. Their friend Josh Fatal came for a visit. On July 28th, they went for a 5-day hike and then accidentally crossed the border into Iran. They were arrested, accused of spying. They were charged with espionage, and under Iranian law, that is a crime punishable by death. The three of them were jailed. Then in 2010, Sarah Shord was released because of health problems. The trial for the two men started in February of this year. They pleaded not guilty, but were found guilty of spying and sentenced to 8 years in Iranian prison. 9 News anchor Gary Shapiro is here with more on how this release came about today and what's happening right now.
Well, the last we heard, they were headed for the airport, and there are reports they actually arrived at the airport in Tehran waiting to be flown out to where we're not sure, but most likely the capital of Oman. This release was a bit of a surprise. We first heard about the possibility when the Iranian president talked about it to Ann Curry on the Today Show last week. This morning, the two were seen being taken by car from the prison. We believe they were headed for the airport again to be flown out. The Iranian news agency said the release for bail deal was completed for $1 million that was apparently paid. We haven't confirmed that it was paid, have no idea if it was, where the money came from. We do know that Switzerland and Oman were involved in the negotiations for their release. Bauer and Fatal, seen here at their trial, have always said they were hiking in a tourist area of Iraq when they strayed accidentally into Iran and were taken into custody with Sarah Shord. As we mentioned, she was released. Bauer's sister Shannon lives in Boulder and has been very outspoken about their imprisonment. She has joined others in the community in holding vigils like this one and putting up signs around town. The Bauer family says it will release a statement to the media later when they know for sure about the details of the release. By the way, this release came just moments before President Obama addressed the UN General Assembly. Now, there is no evidence that Iran timed it to overshadow the speech, but Iran has done that sort of thing before. Most famously, the country waited until moments before Ronald Reagan's inauguration in 1981 to free 52 American hostages who had been held for more than a year. So, Kyle, we will have to wait and see where they both ended up and when their families might be reunited.
Oh, I bet they're so eager. All right, Gary,
absolutely.
Thank you so much. As Gary mentioned, critics say that Iran's president appeared to have tried to get the Americans released in time for his arrival at the UN General Assembly in New York, but the Iranian judiciary says that's not the case. 9 News reporter Jennifer Ryan joins us now live from the University of Denver campus with more on what critics are calling a deepened mistrust between Washington and Tehran. Hi, Jen.
Well, good afternoon to you, Kyle. Yeah, this is a case that has already poisoned the relations between Tehran and Washington, relations that weren't good from the start. And as we said, the news came out as Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is in New York as well. So the timing of it a little bit later than expected, and that really hasn't helped with the trust as well. Now, we did speak with Dr. Shaul Gabbay here. He is a Middle Eastern expert at the University of Denver, and he says that the damage was done a long time ago.
The most important aspect of the relationship today with Iran is the issue of trust. We don't trust Iran. Iran doesn't trust the intentions of the United States. Iran has been supporting terrorist organizations who are working also against our own troops in Afghanistan. It's the #1 state supporting terrorist activity around the world. It is developing nuclear capability. We are not able to stop the nuclear capability ambitions of Iran so far, and there is no question that this is the most important threat, not just to the United States interest, but also to its neighbors.
Dr. Gabbay went ahead and said as well, when I asked him what happens next then, what will strengthen the trust here, and he said really the focus is going to have to be on the nuclear threat that Iran does pose at this point. We're happy to get the hikers back as soon as we do, but we will definitely be still be focusing on that nuclear threat. Kyle.
Absolutely, Jen. Thank you very much.